It's a pleasure to be here to share a few thoughts with you. And I want to just share this up front. Number one, everything that I'm going to say, you already know it. Because of who you are as entrepreneurs, because of who you are, people who have goals and dreams that you want to achieve. And part of that process is being a student, of being a sponge, of learning everything that you can. So everything that I'm going to say, you already know it. Number two, everything that I'm going to say, you've heard it before. From other presenters who've come up and done an incredible job in sharing with you their experiences and the tools that you need in order to rise and to take your life and your business to the next level. Let's give all the presenters a tremendous round of applause who've come up and created value. And so I'm going to share some thoughts and ideas with you. And I just want to make it clear that as I share these ideas, just be open to the possibilities. And I must let you also know that, God has a sense of humor. I'm 70 years old and I have hot flashes. Seriously, I'm going through a decancering program and I have hot flashes. I travel with a fan and a blanket. I call them power surges. So at any time you see me perspiring a lot, I'm a Mickey Mouse fan, have a Mickey Mouse watch, and this is my little pat myself down, when I start perspiring. You got to have a sense of humor. Let us say together, have some fun. Yes. Now, the other thing is that I want you to think about three major goals that you'd like to achieve. Something that's important to you. I'm thankful to this industry. I'm thankful to Eric and Marina for the work they've put together, because were it not for this industry, I would not be who I am before, who I was. I would not be the person that I am now. Because of this industry, people like Glenn Turner, most of you never heard this name, Dare to Be Great, Holiday Magic, Best Line Products, Bill Bailey. Because of this industry, doing presentations, talking to people about a dream and how they can begin to step out of working for someone else to work for themselves, I had no idea that my life would be where it is right now. I don't know you, but here's what I know about you, based upon my own experience, that you have something special. You have greatness within you. Here's what I know about you. There's certain kinds of people who say yes when they're presented with this opportunity, because this is not for everyone. This is not for the faint at heart. This is for people who have goals and dreams that they want to achieve. When I became involved in this industry, that's where I was. I was born in the poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, with a twin brother in an abandoned building on a floor. When we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. And my mother, she worked on Miami Beach. She cleaned homes, and she kept children, and she cooked for families. We ate the food left over from the families that she cooked for. These people were very kind and generous. They said, Mamie, whatever food is left over after we eat, you can pack it up and take it home to those children that you have adopted. She kept their children, and we wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that she kept. And as a kid, I remember walking around these big, beautiful mansions and said, Mama, what is it, Leslie? When I become a man, I'm going to buy you a big, beautiful home, just like this. How many ever have someone in your life that you want to do something special for? Raise your hands, please. Very good. I'm going to share with you how you can make that happen. And I want you to think about goals in your personal life, and I want you to think about your financial goal. What is it? I want you to think about that financial freedom number. How much money do you want to earn that as a result of your earning that, it alleviates a lot of stress. As a result of earning that, it allows you to become debt-free. As a result of earning that, You'll be able to contribute to causes that you believe in and be able to take care of family members and be able to have more time for yourself and your family. I want you to think about your financial freedom number. You know, people say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves. Friend of mine, Rita Davenport, said money ain't important, but it's right up there with oxygen. And let me tell you something, fellas, even if you're as homeless as I am, you got some money, women will find something cute on you. Oh, my boyfriend got eyelashes like Denzel Washington, honey. You know, he's got earlobes like Tom Cruise. I used to be so broke, I'd walk past the bank and trip the alarm. Creditors would call the house and my children would answer the phone and say, my daddy said he ain't home. Oh my God. Being broke is a trip. So I want you to think about your financial freedom number. Everybody right now, as you think about it, hold up your right index finger. Good. You don't do anything else, do this. Now put it in your ear, put it in your ear. And just listen to me. I just want you to listen to me. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than anything you can ever begin to imagine. There's an entrepreneur in you. You have million-dollar ideas, billion-dollar ideas in you. There are people waiting to hear your voice. You have a vision of yourself doing more, achieving more, taking care of your family, making your mark, leaving a legacy. You will never be stressed or challenged financially. You were born to be rich. You know that it's in your DNA. You were born to be successful. Take your finger out. And the reason I wanted you to do that, I didn't want to go in one ear and out the other. You know? As you think about your goals, that's Wesley and I. Which one am I, on the right or the left? Left, I'm the cute one, of course. That's my beginning. I share this with you because I want you to say something with me, with power and conviction. Let us say together, it's not where you start. It's where you're going. There's some of you here who cannot afford to be here, but there was something in you that said, I can't afford not to be here. And you've got here. You showed up. There was something in you that said, I've got to make this happen. There's something in you that said, there's a bigger life waiting for me, calling my name. There's something in you that says, I'm on my way to a greater life. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yes, 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 yes. And whoever brought you in the business, make sure you find them and say thank you, because they saw something. They saw greatness in you. They saw something. They saw that it factor. There's something in you. There's another part of yourself that you will never discover unless you align yourself with positive, motivated people who have goals and dreams beyond working on a job where they pay you just enough to keep you from quitting. Beyond you're working just hard enough to keep from getting fired. There's something in you that says, I'm not going to go through life allowing somebody to control my financial future. There's something in you that says, I'm not going to work at a place where I have to go and ask for permission when I can go on vacation. There's something in you that says, I'm not mentally fit to work for somebody for the rest of my life. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yes. Yes. And think it not strange when you have goals and dreams that you'll face the fiery furnaces of this world. Be surprised that family members and friends and people who should be there to encourage you and to motivate you, that they will try and discourage you. They'll call it a pyramid scheme or some kind of get-rich-quick scheme. People who could help you out and won't help you out because they know too much about you. And they don't believe, they can't see this new you. Don't allow those negative naysayers, the people who are suffering from possibility blindness, to stop you. Had I listened to them, I would not be standing here. Had I listened to them, I would not be traveling around the world, living my dreams and not my fears. There's something in you that says yes to your life, yes to a greater future. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. And as you think about your goals and dreams, your personal goals, your financial goal, and whatever that number is, I want you multiplied 100 times. And I want to warn you, don't ask yourself how you're going to do it. How is none of your business. My favorite book says, lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. There are things you can do that you don't know right now. So don't worry about how. That's none of your business. And I want you to think about your financial contribution, but also your legacy. What will be different? This stage of my life, I'm training and teaching people how to tell their story, how to make a difference in the lives of others, how to become an effective communicator. How many of you would love to do that? Raise your hands, please. It makes all the difference in the world, teaching people the techniques and strategies that I learned that allowed me to build an organization with hundreds of thousands of people. This stage of my life, I'm 70. Don't I look good for 70? Come on, yeah, absolutely. And I don't use mascara. I don't use dye to cover my hair because of the fact that I have an allergic reaction to dye, but I do use mascara. Yeah. My kids say, Daddy, you look distinguished with your gray hair. I said, at 70, I'm not trying to look distinguished. I'm trying to look young. Sometimes, Tony, you got to hook this up. You understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. Oh, my God. Yeah, people saying, I can't believe he's doing that. Now, you're going to need a paintbrush. You're going to need a... Let me tell you. I got to tell you this. I had to give this speech in the Georgia Dome called It's Not Over Till I Win. In fact, you just emailed me. Go to lesroundmotivation.com and you can see it free. So anyhow, at the end of my presentation, somebody was there and said, Mr. Brown, our speaker canceled on the last minute. Said, do you have enough energy to give another speech? And I said, no, I'm tired. They said, we can pay your full fee. I said, the Lord is able. You know, Red Fox said money can't buy you happiness, but it can make a big down payment, you know? So they took me over to the Georgia World Congress Center, Kim, and when I looked in the room, people were very close to the stage. And I said, can I go to the restroom for a minute? They said, yes. I went to the restroom and I took my mascara out. I just sweating and perspiring, getting it all touched up. And so when I came in the room, the lady wanted everybody to know that she knew me. She said, there he is, Les Brown. And I walked up on the stage and she kissed me on the cheek. And I kissed her on the cheek and left this big black smudge on her face. I didn't know what to do, so I just sat down. So the people down front started saying, there's something on your face. And she looked at me, she said, what are they saying? I said, I don't know. Finally, one nosy lady came on there, opened up her purse, gave her a mirror. Now, nobody asked her to do that. Getting in the Kool-Aid, don't know the flavor. She looks at me, she said, how did this get here? I said, I don't know, you think maybe this rubs off? So afterwards, when I kiss you, do not be alarmed. I now use waterproof Mademoiselle, all right? A brother's got to do what he's got to do. So I want you to think about your goals and dreams, your personal goals, your financial goals. Growing your organization, recruiting more people, developing your skills as a communicator. I want you to think about your social contribution. Part of what I'm doing is teaching people how to tell their story, but also teaching people that you are more powerful than cancer. I'm a 19-year cancer conqueror because of God's grace and mercy. I think that doctors should never tell someone they're terminally ill. What they should say is, my knowledge and ability to help you has terminated. Now you need to explore some other options. At this stage of my life, I'm training people how to work with young kids. How many of you have children? Raise your hands, please. I'm teaching them how to develop their mindset, how to become effective communicators, how to begin to dress like a prospect and not a suspect, how to select friends that's an asset to them rather than a liability, in technology, how they can begin to use their skills and talents today rather than going out beating the pavement looking for a job. Teach them how to learn how to develop their own personal economy by doing what you're doing right now. And I believe that we can create a different future for our children when we work together to create communities of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. And that's what you're doing here now. That's what Eric and Marina wanted to do, creating communities of collaborative, achievement-driven relationships. And as you think about your goals and dreams right now, let us say together, it's possible. Yes, say it again, it's possible. See, preparing to come up and speak to you, that was not challenging. But let me share with you what it took me years to do, was to believe that I can do it, given my circumstances. Born in an abandoned building on a floor, being adopted. If both my birth parents stood up now and said, hello, son, I would not recognize either one. Being labeled educable, mentally retarded when I was in the 5th grade, and put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade, and fail again when I was in the 8th grade. Being raised in poverty, how you live your life is a result of the story you believed about yourself. And so being in the environment where I was born, that was my reality of being poor. I was stuck. How many of you ever been stuck? Raise your hands, please. And so as entrepreneurs, as leaders, I'm going to share with you what it is you do and the power of speaking. Write this down. Distract. See, when you as an entrepreneur, when you present the business, don't go in just trying to sell people on the business. No. What your goal is to sell them on a new story. How people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. When you show up, you do what Mr. Washington did for me. Write this down. You distract them from their current story. I'll never forget the gentleman I eulogized a few weeks ago when I first met him. He said, young man, go to the board to work this problem out for me. I said, oh, sir, I can't do that. Why not? I'm not one of your students. Look at me. Yes, sir. Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow. I can't, sir. Why? And the other students started laughing. He's DT. He's a twin. His brother's smart. His sister, she's smart. But he's DT. What's DT? He's a dumb twin. And I said, I am, sir. As the students laughed, and he came from behind his desk, he looked at me. He said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And so that was a turning point in my life. On one hand, I was humiliated, but on the other hand, I was liberated. Because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. And so when you approach someone about this business, what you're doing is you are interrupting their current story. And when they come to an opportunity meeting, or when you make the presentation of what the possibilities are and how they can change their financial income, you're dismantling their limited belief system and begin to allow them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, inspired. Distract, dispute, and inspired to become like a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter in their lives. You're selling them a story of hope. You're selling them a story of possibility. You're selling them a story of controlling their own personal economy. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, bring your energy level up. And that's what we do as entrepreneurs. That's what you do when you make a presentation. How important is that? That's major. That's major. More people died, according to the CDC, last year from, listen to this, suicide than from traffic accidents. People have lost hope. When you speak, you're giving people hope. When there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. When you speak with conviction, when you speak strategically and tell the story of why you said yes, tell the story on how you saw this opening up the door for a new life for yourself. Is it easy? Of course it's not easy. It's challenging. It requires patience. It requires persistence. It requires a willingness to do whatever is required to create a new life for yourself. Give yourselves a round of applause for giving people another shot, another chance. And see, I didn't do what I'm doing now for 14 years because I assumed I couldn't do it because I had never done it before. There are people who are going to tell you no. They're living off an assumption. They assume because they've never done it before, they can't do it. Or they assume because they've been involved in the business before and things didn't work out, and so this won't work out. I didn't do what I'm doing now because I assume because I don't have a college education. I assume because I had to compete with people with PhDs and MBAs. I assume because of my lack of education, I could not compete. How many of you ever decided not to do something based upon an assumption? Raise your hands, please. And so that's why it's important for us to be strategic and experiential and being able to tell the story to distract them from their current story, distract, dispute, break down the limited belief system, and inspire them to say yes to a new opportunity in their lives. And so as a result, I didn't do what I'm doing now because I had such a tremendous inferiority complex because of my lack of college education. I stopped myself. There's an African proverb that says there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And so as you look at yourself, as you look at your goals, look at your dreams, it's very important that you take time every day and write this down to retrain your thinking. You got to retrain your thinking. Because how we live our lives is a result of the story that we bought into. I had to retrain my thinking because of what I saw. Studies indicating that the decisions we make in life is directly related to the things that we saw, the things that we experienced, the conversations we've been exposed to between age 0 and 5. And so as a result of that, my experience, I had to begin to engage in a process of retraining my mindset. And I didn't even know what I was doing. But this man, Mr. Swiderski, I'll never forget. Leslie, come in here. Yes, sir. Look at my shoes. You can shine them better than this. I do apologize, sir. I'll do a better job. And his wife said, please don't yell at him like that. That's not nice. He's just a kid. He's only 10 years old. He should do a better job than that. He can. I said, it's okay, Mrs. Swiderski. And he should have yelled at me. He was a very rude, arrogant guy, but he was a kind guy, too. What I loved about him, every day he had a routine. It was his time in the morning he spent working on his mind. And I wanted to be in the office as he was shining his shoes, listening to Earl Nightingale. All of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. Listening to Dr. Dennis Waitley, people form habits and habits create futures. Listening to Zig Ziglar, if you give enough people what they want, they will give you what you want. Listening to Jim Rohn, when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Listening and reading the words of Winston Churchill, the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but at the end, there it is. Reading from my favorite book, Be Not Conformed to This World, Be Transformed by the Renewing of Your Mind. Listening to these words helped to create a different vision for myself. Some of you are already doing it right now. I'm saying this is a time more than ever that you want to begin to inoculate yourself with positive words, coming to conventions, showing up on meetings, being on the calls to make yourself unstoppable, to get out of your mind the polluting negative thoughts that's causing most people to go through life being stuck because they're volunteer victims. Somebody said that many people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65 because they got so much garbage in their minds. You are here because you've got a clear vision of what you want and where you're going. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, bring your energy level up. Yes, yes. You want more. You want more. You're different. You're different than everybody else. Don't worry if they don't get it. Don't try and convince people to do this business. A person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. You are not like everybody else. You can walk outside and find pigeons, but if you're looking for eagles, it's going to take you a minute. You are different. It's lonely at the top. How many of you know it's lonely at the top? Raise your hands. It's lonely at the top, but you eat better. That's what I'm talking about. You're different. One great entrepreneur said, I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will never cower before any master, nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. You showed up because you're building a business that you can stand and say, I did this. I did this. This is my dream. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. There's something in you that wouldn't allow you to stop. Dr. Howard Thurman, he said there's something in each and every one of you that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only guide you will ever have. And if you cannot hear it, all of your life, your days will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. And I say to you, the reason you showed up, even though you couldn't afford to be here, the reason you drove hundreds of miles, flew around the world, there's something in you, in your heart of hearts, that said, I'm not going to let anybody pull my strings. It said, I'm going to control my own personal economy. It said, I've got a dream I want to achieve. I want my children to have a choice of the kind of education that they want. That said, I am the captain of my ship. That said, I'm going to control my destiny. And whatever it takes, I'm willing to do the work. Give yourselves a round of applause. President John F. Kennedy had a decision to make. The decision was whether or not to call a news conference and tell the world the United States was going to go to the moon. And I submit to you that the decision to do that was very risky. And what governed his thinking is what governed your thinking when you decided, I'm going to do this. See, the technology did not exist. The answer of what will it take did not exist. No one had ever done it before. But he made a decision. He looked at Werner von Braun, the most brilliant scientist of that day. And he said, Werner, what will it take for us to go to the moon? And he spoke 5 words. And those 5 words, I think, is what governs most entrepreneurs. Those 5 words, I think, is what give people like you the courage to pursue their dreams. Those 5 words is what I think people who are pioneers, people who are breaking new ground, make decisions on. He said, what will it take for us to go to the moon? And the response was, the will to do it. As you look at yourself, as you look at your business, as we look into 2015 and beyond, what will it take for you to increase your business? The will to do it. What will it take for you to become more powerful in your presentation skills and be able to increase the number of people, to quadruple your business? The will to do it. What will it take for you when others are quitting because of the rejections, when others are stopping because they just become so discouraged and they have creditors breathing down their neck and they have family members and friends telling them they're a fool? What is it that will allow you to have the mental resiliency to keep on keeping on, to keep your commitment to your commitment? The will to do it. Every time I say it and ask you a question, I want you to say the will to do it. What will it take for you to build your business? What will it take for you to increase your recruiting? What will it take for you to bring out the greatness in you and to make your mark? What will it take for you to become a high achiever and to bring out the billionaire in you? Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, I've got the will. I've got the will. Mr. Washington, this man who taught me, he said, Mr. Brown, you want to make it in life? He said, number 1, develop your mind. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Number 2, develop your communication skills. Once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. 3, practice the principle of OQP, only quality people. Let us say together, only quality people. As you think about your goals and dreams, this is not for everybody. You want to build an organization with only quality people. Not people who need more, but people who want more. You want to surround yourself with people that are hungry. People that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. People that are hungry do what they know, not what they feel. See, I didn't do this for years because I knew it would be hard. And Mr. Washington said something to me. Mike Williams, my mentor, you want to go online and find his book, The Road to Your Best Stuff. He said something that grabbed me, and I want you to put this someplace where you can see it. See, you build this business through persistence. You got to affirm, I will persist until I succeed. You build it through patience. It takes time to grow orchids. It's faster to grow roses, but orchids, that takes time. You have to have persistence, you have to have patience and perseverance. It takes courage to come back again and again and again. Because in order to build the business, it's hard work. It's H-A-R-D and H-E-A-R-T. Are you with me there? Write this down. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. If you do what is easy, point out all this is some pyramid scheme. Oh, I've been talking to people and nobody's interested. I talked to people and they said no. Oh, I've done that before. come up with excuses. If you do what is easy, always looking for a way to give yourself a pass, to let yourself off the hook, to do what everybody else is doing, a job, the journey of the broke. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. People working on jobs that they hate, The heart attack rate on Monday morning between 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock increases by 35%. People going to jobs that they hate. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. Working 2 and 3 jobs for one paycheck and no job security. But there's something in you that says, I'm making some good money, but you know what? I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. A friend of mine, she's here. I'm so honored to be in her presence, Kim Wee. She went to do a presentation, drove from Los Angeles to San Francisco, and 20 people in the room, and they said, yes, she's an electrifying speaker, great presenter. Yes. And when she left, the Dream Busters took the floor. And when the Dream Busters finished with those people who had goals and dreams of a new life, they sabotaged Kim. And they called her before she can get home and said, no, we're not going to do it. And at that moment, she could have quit. Write this down, your private voice. Every entrepreneur, you have 2 things going for you. You have an energy signature, and some of you will be working with, and you have a private voice. 8 to 9 decisions out of 10 that you make are governed by that private voice. When they called and said no, her private voice said, you're wasting your time. You don't need to do this. Your husband is a doctor. You don't need to do this. You're a mother. You need to spend more time with your child. Get this crazy idea out of your mind. But rather than do that, she started talking to herself. Rather than do that, she started listening to motivational messages that would build herself up from the inside. And as a result of her saying, yes, I can do this, as a result of ignoring the Dream Busters, now she's one of the top 10 producers in the world in multi-level marketing. Give her a round of applause. Kim Wee, stand up. Give her a round of applause. Yes. Yes. In the world. And that's why you are here. There's a voice in you that has said, I can do this. I know others have failed. I can do this. I know others have said that I can't do it. I've had setbacks in life. How many of you had some failures? Raise your hands, please. How many of you had some no's in your life? Raise your hands, please. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, make no your vitamin. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to make it in life, you got to make no your vitamin. You've got to know every no brings you a step closer to a yes. Anybody can stop because someone said no. But there's something in you, in your heart of hearts, that's saying, I'm not a quitter. There's something in you that says, I've got the will to do it. There's something in you that says, I'm going to find a way. Mr. Brown, what do you want to do with your life, young man? Sir, I'd like to become a disc jockey. Why? Sir, because I want to buy my mother a home. He said, great. Listen to Paul Harvey. Here are my car keys. Go in the car, 12 noon. He comes on every day. Why? Because if you want to be successful, study the people that are doing what you want to do. He's the best in the world when it comes to communication. I suggest to you, as you look at what you want to achieve, look at the top achievers. Understand and know they are only an example. They are not an exception. They're an example of what you can do because success leaves clues. Follow the system, watch the leaders, and study them. I did that. And he said, Mr. Brown, detoxify your life. Let all the negative people in your life go. Can I change them? No. It's a full-time job changing yourself. He's right. He's right. You can't change people. It's hard changing yourself. And there's some people so negative they can walk into a dark room and begin to develop. He said, practice OQP, only quality people. He said, I want you to see yourself as a disc jockey. You want to be a disc jockey? Visualize yourself being on radio. You want to be a top performer? Visualize yourself building the business. Visualize yourself coming across the stage, accepting an award for your recognition of your hard work. See it in your mind's eye. He said, I'll give you all your eyes can see. And I had to see myself on stage as I'm presenting right now. I've been here many times before I showed up in my mind. All your goals are achieved twice. First, in the mind, then, and without. And then finally, he said, Mr. Brown, I said, yes, sir. You want to be a disc jockey? Yes, sir. He said, you got to be hungry. I said, why you keep saying that? He said, people that are hungry are relentless. People that are hungry, unstoppable. People that are hungry, no excuse is acceptable. I said, sir, I'm hungry to take care of my mother. All my life, people have always compared me to my brother because I'm not smart like him. It takes me longer to get things than most people. I have to hear it again and again. But once, I got it, sir. I got it. You're the only person that never called me stupid or dumb. You never called me DT, the dumb twin. You look at me like I'm somebody. I've never had a father, and I watch you, and I want to be able to talk like you. I get choked up sometimes because I can't get my thoughts out, sir. But I want to do what you do, and I want to make my mama proud. He said, you can do it, Mr. Brown. I've given you all you can get from me. Now it's on you. If you want to be a disc jockey, go out into the marketplace. I went to apply for a job on Miami Beach. Milton Butterball Smith was the program director. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. Young man, you have any journalism in your background? No, sir, I don't. Have any experience in broadcasting? No, sir. But let me audition for you, sir. Let me show you how good I am. All I want, sir, is a shot. Just let me audition. He said, no. How many have been rejected? Raise your hands, please. I was devastated with rejection. I said, Mr. Washington, they said no. He said, don't take it personally. Most people are so negative, they have to say no 7 times before they say yes. He said, you got to be hungry. Go back again. I went back again. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? Now, my name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. He said, I know what your name is. Weren't you here yesterday? I said, yes, sir, I was. Didn't I tell you no yesterday? I said, yes, sir, you did. He said, then why are you back today? I said, well, sir, I didn't know whether or not somebody was laid off or somebody was fired, sir. He said, no one was laid off or fired. Now get on out of here. I came back the next day. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. He said, I know what your name is. Weren't you here the last 2 days? I said, yes, sir. Didn't I tell you no the last 2 days? I said, yes, sir. He said, then why are you back today? I said, sir, I didn't know whether that someone got sick or someone died, sir. No one got sick or died. No one was laid off or fired. Now, don't you come back here again. I came back the next day, talking loud, looking happy, like I was singing for the first time. I said, hello, Mr. Butterball, how are you? He looked at me with rage. He says, go get me some coffee. I said, yes, sir. As you think about your goals and dreams, you've got to know your vitamin. I became the errand boy for the disc jockeys. I'd go get their lunch and their dinner, and I'd stand in the control room watching them move their hands, knowing my time will come. Let us say together, I expect to live my dream. I began to serve them. My favorite book says, the greatest among you will be your servant. Learn how to be a good server. And so pretty soon, I was, write this down, building a relationship. People build relationships with people they know, like, and trust, and have proven themselves. And they said, look here, young boy, who cleaned my car today? I did, sir. How much do I owe you? Nothing, sir. You cleaned it inside and out. You waxed it, yes. I don't owe you anything? No, sir. I just wanted to help out. Write this down. Give before you ask. I was giving service. I was giving service first. He said, whoa. Yeah, Donna Ross and the Supremes are coming to town, the Four Tops and the Temptations. Here are my car keys. Pick them up and take them to the Fontainebleau Hotel on Miami Beach. I said, be my pleasure to serve you, sir. I would drive these entertainers all over Miami Beach in the disc jockeys' big long Cadillacs. I didn't have any driver's license, but I was driving like a handsome. Then one day, it was a Saturday afternoon, a disc jockey by the name of Rockin' Roger was drinking while he was on the air. He began to slur his words. He got so drunk he was about to fall off the chair. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I was the only one there, looking at him through the control room window, walking back and forth, young, ready, and hungry. I was saying, drink, rock, drink. Drink, rock. I'd have gone and get him some more if he'd asked me to. Then pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager, and I answered the phone. I said, hello? He said, young boy, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish the show. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs in? I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend, Cassandra. I said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn on the radio. I'm about to come on the air. I waited for about 20 minutes, and I called him back and said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, you know how to work the controls? I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and segue the record. Don't you say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get old Rock out of the way. I put on a fast record. I said, look out, this is me, LB Triple P. Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. I was hungry. I was hungry. I was hungry. Shake someone's hand and say, you gotta be hungry. Shake someone's hand and say, you gotta be hungry. You gotta be hungry. So I'd like to leave this with you. I don't know what you want to do, but I believe that Zig was right. If you give enough people what they want, they will give you what you want. I believe Jim Rohn was right. When the end comes to you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. I believe Earl Nightingale was right. All of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. I believe that Dr. Peel was right. Always strive to get on top in life because the bottom is overcrowded. I believe Mike Williams is right. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. So I dedicate this to you, to the dreamer in you. Something my mother used to love to hear me say. Leslie, yes ma'am, mama. Say that thing for me, boy, that makes me feel good. I dedicate this to you because it's one thing to be in the business, but there's something else when the business is in you. You're here because it's in you. It's in your heart. And it says simply this: if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish, or gulf, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God, you'll get it. God bless you. God bless your dream. God bless America. Thank you so very much.
Mr. Les Brown. The man.
Thank you.
All right, have a seat real quick. How'd you enjoy that? I got to tell you about an event that Les agreed to help us do. It's coming up this February. How many people would like to be a presenter like Les Brown? How many people would like to be coached on how to be more powerful like Les Brown? Okay, well, Les normally does a 2-day speaker academy. He teaches people how to be professional speakers, how to get out and inspire people with words. It's normally pretty expensive. I asked him if he would discount it pretty deeply for our audience to be able to help more people participate in it. It's this February 27th and 28th, 2 days. Les is going to do a network marketing speaker academy here in Las Vegas, 2 days intensive, where he's going to train you how to do what he does. So Les, just tell them very briefly, or summarily, if that's even a word.
I started out with my story. What I do, how many have had some disappointments in your life? Raise your hands, please. How many have had some setbacks? Raise your hands. How many have ever gone through divorce? Raise your hands, please. How many have ever lost a job? Raise your hands, please. So what I teach you how to do is how to give a message out of your mess. I teach you how and why it's important for people to learn how to tell your story. Because the goal is when people leave your presence, they will feel better about themselves, but talking about you, because you have used your story strategically to distract, dispute, and inspire, to distract them from the story they currently believe about themselves. And through the experiential and strategic telling of your story, then they will now begin to become open to the possibility of creating a new story with you as their coach. And I want you to write this down. Something that I invented and I created this. It's called three-dimensional communication. Three-dimensional communication. And what you're doing, you impact, it teaches you how to use your story to expand their minds so they can begin to see, I can do this. To touch their hearts. People make decisions based upon emotions, but they're justified with logic. To expand their minds, touch their heart, and ignite their spirit so that they will say yes to their life. They say yes to a greater life and a greater possibility. Because, and write this down, you have an energy signature. So what I do is teach you how to use your story, your energy signature, and this is major, to navigate an experience with an audience. An experience. See, people think in order to communicate, you've got to just do a information download. No, if information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy. So, but you have an experience that's unique to you, to your energy signature. And so three-dimensional communication allows you to impact the mind, the heart, and the spirit, and allows you to begin to create for yourself a global imprint to influence people, to bring the best out of people, to motivate and inspire people to do things they don't even realize that they're capable of doing. But because they were in your presence and how you presented yourself, that presentation power will transform their lives. How many of you want to learn how to do that? Raise your hands, please. Yes.
Here's what I will tell you. Learning how to be a presenter changed my life. It made a radical impact. It encouraged the people in my organization that they were following somebody of value. It opened doors for me that were closed before that. So to be able to learn from somebody like Mr. Brown over the course of 2 days, kind of an intensive, immersive experience, is something that I'm happy to bring to the network marketing community. So give him one big round of applause. And if you'd like to be a part of that, make sure you take action. Thanks, sir.
And on the end of the night's call, I'll be making announcements of how you can stay connected to Mr. Brown and what is happening with his platinum speakers and the movement of igniting voices of hope all over the world. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the legend himself, none other than Mr. Les Brown. Les, are you with us?
Yes, I am, and I plan to be with you for a long time.
I know that's right. because we just can't
Yes.
get enough of you, Mr. Brown. So thank
Thank
you so much
you.
for being
Thank you
here,
so
and
much.
hearing your voice is always a privilege and a pleasure.
All right. Well, I thank you so much for your help and support, and Nita Boo, and hosting and making it possible for me to be able to speak to everybody. Someone said I'm supposed to be in Athens, Georgia. Please email me at lesbrown.com, because somebody's head go roll tomorrow morning. Athens, Georgia. That's my first time hearing about that. Please let me know about that. Please email me at yes at lesbrown.com, the sponsoring organization, so I can reach out to somebody, because I don't miss engagements. So, but let me get into my presentation tonight. I want everybody to think about some goals and dreams that you'd like to achieve. And first of all, every opportunity that I get to be on this call, I'm going to affirm you. I'm going to validate you, because you represent a small number. It's a small number of people that would take the time to carve out some time to hear something that can help them to live their dreams, to become a better person, to make a difference in their community, to be able to stretch themselves and to challenge themselves, to use all that God has placed in them. Most people are spectators. They spend the majority of their time watching entertainment, sporting events, television. That's what the majority of people do. Majority of people spend their time and their money on things that provide for them relief from their life, stress. They look for distractions. And so you're being on this call. Let me share with you, and I've been doing a lot of reflecting since I turned 70 on February the 17th, and as I'm walking in to this next level of living of my life, on what I want to do and what I want to accomplish. And as I'm talking to my twin brother on a regular basis and reflecting on our lives and my other brothers and sisters that we were adopted together, it's interesting how people can be raised in the same household, same parents, and end up dramatically different. So you're choosing to do something positive. You're choosing to expose your mind to something that can stretch your mind and enhance your mind, while the rest of the world is listening to a record. I was at a red light, and a young man stopped at the red light, and he had his music playing real loud, and the song that was on was, I'm going to have that bee get my money. That bee better get my money. Now, and you know the word. It didn't say bee, but you know the word. And the people behind me had to blow their horn, because I had to pause for a moment. And I was just thinking that our kids are listening to that day in and day out. And we're in a time where there's no such thing as decency. We're in a time that using profanity and using vulgar words in your regular, everyday conversations and form of communication, it's as if these words are acceptable and normal in conversations. I have a friend. We have investments in daycares, and to hear young kids, I'm talking about 4 and 5 years old, sometimes younger, using profanity, and sometimes parents stand around and hear it. So, isn't that cute? Oh, look at her. Did you hear what she just said? Let me tell you something. There's nothing cute about that. And when you look at most of our kids all tattooed up, I got a nephew that's getting out of jail, and I'm not sure, not out of jail, out of prison. And I'm not sure he's ready, because he said to my sister, if she couldn't come pick him up, he will have one of his homies pick him up. Let me tell you something. First of all of his homies are felons. One of the rules when you get out of prison, you're not to associate with felons. That's parole violation, not to even be in a car with them, in the same place with them. So that says to me, he hasn't learned anything. He's got more tattoos now than when he came in, and all the other tattoos that he had before he went in, that said to me, that was preparation. That was preparation. He went to graduation. It's a boy's passage. You know, it's that these young guys see going to jail as street cred, gives them credibility. Getting all tattooed up and the earrings and the fact that they go to jail, not knowing that when they get out, the opportunity to get a legitimate job, even if they turn their lives around, are so slim it's unbelievable. Can't even work in a school as a janitor. Can't work in a daycare center. Can't work in hospitals. I mean, they're just, the society make them pay over and over and over and over and over again. That's why the recidivism rate is over 87%, because they can't find a legitimate way to earn a legitimate living. They can't get public housing. But my nephew, who wanted to go to jail so desperately and worked so hard at it, he got exactly what he deserved, and I thought he would have learned something. See, if I went to jail, prison, and they told me, we don't want you associating with any ex-felons, and nobody was around to come pick me up, and I didn't have bus fare, I would just say, point me in the direction of where I need to go. I would walk. I remember my cousin Boo and I, we were in a car with some friends, and they started lighting up. Mac Arthur to my left, he started shooting up heroin, and then the other guys in the car, they started smoking weed. I said, can y'all pull over for just a minute? Just a minute, just pull over to the side. I said, what, you got to have, you got to have a leak? I said, just pull over for just a moment. I need to stop for just a moment. Then when they pulled over, I got out, Boo got out, probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. We're in Liberty City, and we walked. It took us probably 2 to 3 hours to get home. We walked. I was not going to be in that car when the police pull them over smelling weed, alcohol, and drugs in the car. No, absolutely not. And so one of the things that these young boys like my nephew, just straight up dumb with a capital D, stupid with a capital S. It's unbelievable. I find this hard to believe. And so what I want you to think about right now is, number one, stay away from dumb people. Lazy, trifling people who have no qualms about complaining and sitting around looking at television and wondering, will the Cavaliers make the playoff? And did you see the last episode of Scandal while they're living a scandalous life? Wasting their time away. Trust me on this. And I look at this stage of my life, and I look at people who I knew had great potential. I knew they were intelligent. Saw a guy that spent many years in jail. He was smart. I used to copy off his paper. Had it not been for him, I wouldn't have gotten out of school. I copied off his paper. But he was dumb. He hung around losers. He was dumb. He always found himself with the wrong people in the wrong place at the wrong time. And there are a lot of people doing that right now who don't end up in prison or in jail. I believe the world consists of the caught and the uncaught, but who have imprisoned themselves by surrounding themselves with do-nothing, energy-draining people who don't learn. 85% of people after they graduate from high school never open up a book. And only 10% who do open up a book don't go past the first chapter. Wow. So part of what I'm suggesting to you as you think about your goals and dreams, separate yourself. As you think about where you want to go with your life, you want to begin to saturate your mind with positive stuff. Just imagine our kids are singing songs that be better give me my money. Now, it's scientifically proven words affect how your brain works. Do you hear me? Your words affect how your brain works. So if you're around people who have empty conversation or conversation that's filled with profanity and ignorance and vulgarity, it affects how your brain works. Do you hear that? I'm not making this up. This is scientifically proven. So you have to not only watch your language, but you have to watch the language that you expose your mind to. There's certain comedians I love them. They're talented. I just can't sit through the cursing. I can't do it. I love Chris Rock. He's a talented guy. I met him. He's an introvert, very reflective guy. Can't sit through his program. He's got to drop the F word too many times for me. Listen, that's not good for your mental and physical health. Do you hear me? There's some things that you can make funny and you never have to ever use profanity. But today, it's about how low can you go. It's today, how vulgar can you get. And today, these young people, they respect nobody, nothing. Nothing. And so my heart goes out to parents who have children. These young kids today, what they're being exposed to. My God. My God. It's something else. I say to you, you got goals and dreams. You're going through some tough times right now. Won't cost you nothing. Go on YouTube. Find everything that I have recorded and watch it every day, hours on end. It will change your life. It will change your life. It will teach you how to become successful. It's easier now to become successful than ever before. You have no competition. Now, here's something else. Secure yourself. I called to talk to a friend of mine who worked at a radio station in Detroit with Mildred Gaddis, and they laid him off. Brilliant guy. Laid him off. Why? Because he didn't do the job? No, because of politics, station politics. You got a job, you got to do 2 and 3 jobs for one paycheck and no job security. You can lose your job on foolishness. Foolishness. So this is a time that you want to, one, put things in your mind that will expand your mind, that will increase your belief in yourself, that will give you mental resiliency. And 2, you want to secure your own future. You got to create yourself. You've got to create your own job. You got to look at yourself and say, what is it I want to do? What talents, abilities that I have, and if you don't have any, go to the library or Google something. Get on Google and develop a talent. There's a guy has Ping Pong Studio. Just help him to do a commercial. He has all type of videos that he's used clips from movies and has my voice in the background and Eric Thomas. And he created these inspirational videos. And I said, hey, how did you learn how to do this when I found him? And he said, I went out to Hollywood to try and get into the movie business, and I failed, and I had a construction company. I came back home, and then I just got online and decided that I wanted to get involved in film editing. And I found a place on Google. I Googled it, and I taught myself how to edit. Now he has his own company, editing films, earning over $1 million a year. Did you hear me? See, if you turn off the television and turn up your life, if you let go of negative people who fill in your head with head trash, and you focus your time and energy on developing another skill, you'll be surprised at what you can do. I'm 70 years young. Before the end of the month, I'm flying. I'm going to Germany. I'm going to speak in Germany. Before the end of the month, I'm going to London, England. Before the end of the month, I'm going to speak in Australia. I'm traveling around the world, and somebody else is paying me to come in to motivate them, to talk to them, and I'm very glad to do it. Whatever. Hello? I'm telling you, I love this. Listen to me. Listen to me. You can design a life that you can be proud of, where you're making money doing what you love to do, earning the kind of money that you deserve. If you spend time saturating your mind with positive material, stay away from people whose negative conversations can affect your attitude about yourself, and spend some time learning something. What is it you know today that you did not know yesterday? Make it a point that you're going to learn something new every day. When I hang up, I've got some things that I'm looking at. I'm developing new skills. My goal is to learn something about the internet every day. I've got these skills that I'm working on that will serve me well, because most people my age, they're tired. They tired, honey. They tired. They got one foot on a banana peel and the other one in the graveyard. I'm having a great time. Life begins at 70. If you have a positive mindset, if you're looking for ways to improve yourself, and if you stay away from negative, energy-draining people who have no goals and no dreams, I believe, each one of you listening to me right now, listen to me, that there's something in you that attracted you to my voice. And that something in you, I call that your higher consciousness. There's a presence in you, that inner man, that inner woman, that knows that you can do more, that you can have more, that you can achieve more. And that if you honor that still small voice within you and continue to saturate your mind with positive things, continue to look for people with talents, abilities, and skills, and surround yourself with people that you can learn from, people that you can grow from, and set for yourself big goals and dreams. There's some power in pursuit of a dream. When you are pursuing a dream, you develop confidence, you develop skills, you develop new relationships, you develop resources that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you if you live a life where you're pursuing goals outside of your comfort zone, where you're pursuing projects. See, we grow from people and projects. Look at the people in your life. Well, how many projects do you have in your life that you're working on to make a difference? I'm working on my legacy. I'm a great-great-grandfather. So I'm working on what will my mark be? How many more lives can I touch? How many more lives can I change before I check out? Let me share something with you. A lady went with a friend of hers whose father died. And her friend's father was a grumpy guy, mean-spirited. He had no friends. Nobody visited him. And when he died, she fulfilled his wishes. He wanted to be cremated. And she followed behind the hearse with her friend to take her father to be cremated. And she said she stood there as they first prayed for her father, and then they pushed him in. And they waited. They went and did a few things, and they came back. And they collected his ashes in an urn about a day or 2 days later. And he wanted his ashes to be thrown in the wind. And she said, as her friend threw her father's ashes in the wind and the wind blew the ashes, she said what grabbed her and moved her so deeply was, as the ashes disappeared, it was as if her friend's father never existed, because he didn't live a life of contribution. He didn't have any projects that he was working on that would make a difference. He didn't build relationships with people that could have helped him do some of the things that he was sent here to do. No one was there to witness the throwing of his ashes but his daughter and a stranger. Most people go through life like that. They die unlived lives. And I believe there's something in you that's causing you to hear my voice. Something in you that says, I want to live. See, it's one thing to survive, but what it takes to live and what it takes to survive is two different things. Most people in survival mode are caught up in weapons of mass distractions. So, my message to you, and you already know it, fill your head with words that can empower you. Spend several hours. I do it on a regular basis. Every day I have to spiritualize my thoughts. I have to listen to things. Why? Because you're going to take some hits. Think it not strange that you're going to face the fiery furnaces of this world. You're going to take some hits. Something's going to happen to you or someone you care about, and you need the mental resiliency to accommodate the things that will be coming your way. Well, that doesn't happen to me. Don't worry. Just keep on living. Trust me. Trust me on this. Your time will come. Your name will be called. So isolate yourself. Take time every day. I call it God moments. Your time with God, that you won't read any text messages or emails or take any phone calls, but you just spend that time listening and reading and praying and meditating to fill yourself up, to build mental resiliency. Next thing, make it a point to learn something. To learn something that will allow you to continue to grow, that will allow you to continue to stimulate your thinking, your imagination. Because we're here to do a work. There's a calling on your life and my life. And as we learn, as we grow and expand, you'll discover things you can do that you don't even realize right now. Most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they aim too low and hit. I did that for many years. I didn't think I can do what I'm doing. I'm flying around the world, people paying me, strangers, to come in and teach them how to be successful. I didn't think I could do this because I don't have a college education, because I was in special education all through school and labeled educable mentally retarded. I didn't think I could do this. Listen to me. There are things you can do that you don't know, and you've got to challenge yourself. Well, I tried some things and they didn't work out. So what? You will fail your way to success. Walter P. Chrysler failed in the automobile industry 42 times, but my God, look what happened to 43. You will fail your way to success. And the other thing is, start watching people, observing them. People, see, I believe in energy. I believe in energy. There's some people that don't need to be in your space. There's some telephone calls you don't need to take. Some conversations that you don't need to expose yourself to, because it will pollute your mind with ignorance. And so start being selective of who you give your time to. Ask the question, what value is this person bringing to me? Am I growing mentally, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually? Do they bring me peace? I call a friend of mine, Dwight Pleasure, one of my platinum speakers. He gives me a sense of peace. He's my spiritual brother. I love talking to him. John Garcia. There are certain people in my life that to hear their voice brings me a sense of peace and comfort. Certain people I talked to, I was with Alicia and Lorette today, two friends of mine who earn over $100,000 a month, and I struck a partnership with them. And those are my money-making partners. When I'm with them, the ideas are just flowing out of me. Flowing, because of that kind of creative energy that I was in. Who's in your corner? Dr. Dennis Kimbrough out of Atlanta was right. He said, if you're the smartest one in your group, you need to get a new group. I used to be Alicia's mentor. Now she is my mentor. I'm learning from her, and I'm proud of it. Here's what I want to say to you. This is your time. Make it a discipline. Dedicate yourself. Give yourself homework to work on your mind, to work on your health, to declutter your life, to clean your life up, to clean up your conversation, to start reading a minimum of 20 to 30 pages of something positive every day. A friend of mine, Mike Sims, he did something for a year, and he said it changed his life. He earned his first million at 26. And I said, well, how did you change your life? He said, man, for 1 year, I never turned on the television. And I said, you didn't watch television? He says, no. I didn't watch the news. I said, how'd you find out what was going on? He said, people told me. And I wasn't even interested. He said, I have enough problems of my own. Why should I watch other people's problems? He said, and it changed his life. As my health is stronger now than ever before, and part of my regimen, part of my prayers and my meditation and my exercise and my walking and meeting with my fitness coach, I don't watch television because it's not good for me mentally. It's too much dysfunctional stuff on there. I was in the airport and saw this girl that Chris Brown beat up or whatever, and that's the one that got that song out. Wow. So it shows ignorance comes in all kind of packages, boy. Vulgarity, indecency, unbelievable. No sense of decency. Wow. Don't listen to it. Don't let your children listen to it. Don't entertain ignorance in the name of entertainment because it's hip. You've got to restore respect and decency. Vulgarity and profanity is not good for your brain. When I train young men, I tell them to affirm an affirmation that when you use language that's degrading to women or to yourself, profanity is the strongest expression of a weak mind. Write that down. Put that up someplace, particularly in barbershops. Profanity is the strongest expression of a weak mind. You have something special. You have greatness within you. Challenge yourself, push yourself, surround yourself with people who have goals and dreams, mastermind and encourage and inspire each other. And you will develop a strategy and a synergy to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. You have something special. You have greatness within you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Stacy?
Wow, 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 wow. Talk about being on fire tonight. Woo!
This is the controversial call tonight.
Yeah, I said, oh, no, he did.
Because there are a lot of people who think that vulgarity is normal. They think that it's. I mean, I was on a bus, a shuttle, going from one airline to the other, and there were two young men. They're probably about between 24 and 27. And they were talking, going back and forth with each other. MF this, and man, I saw that B, and going back and forth with a shuttle full of people, and we are the only people of color on there. I wanted to crawl under a chair, say, I don't know them. The people were looking at me saying, can you say something to them? And that when they're gone that over that deeply, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. One of the first things when my nephew gets out of prison, he has these tattoos all around his neck that says, I just got out of prison. So I'm asking, what kind of job are you going to get? Who's going to hire you? You got these signs that indicate this is where I've been spending my time. I suffer from HIV, hood-infected virus, AIDS, addiction to incarceration and death syndrome. I said, you're intelligent? You used to travel with me on the road? I said, come on. You didn't come out of that kind of home. Now, your father went to prison, but my sister raised you to be a respectable young man. You were on the honor roll. You got an academic scholarship, and you decided to go to school and spend your time partying and doing drugs and breaking in people's houses in Atlanta, and got arrested, and a lady judge recognized your intelligence as you told her that you had a girlfriend that was pregnant and you have learned your lesson and you will change your behavior, and she gave you a break and put you on probation. And you went out and broke in another house while on probation, got arrested again. And she gave you another break, and she said, I don't ever want to see you again, and you came back a third time. That's what I call retardation, stupid with a capital S. And I don't like to use those types of words, but you know what? You got to call it when you see it. You know, Maya Angelou said, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. It's a duck.
Absolutely, Les.
Yes, and if you know what, if you hang around these people, it will drive you to drinking. You know, you just snap. I mean, and he had the unmitigated gall. My nephew had the unmitigated gall, and I'm so glad I wasn't there to say to my sister, I'm here because of you. You weren't a good mother. Look here. I'd have body slammed him. Let me tell you something. She did all she could do, but he decided to run the streets with his homies. But when he needs money on his books, he doesn't call his homies. He calls my sister his mother. Can you put some on my books?
Wow, wow.
Exactly what I say, wow. But you know what? We have to, there's some people and some young people that life will have to teach them some things that we can never teach them. There's some people, they have to get it from life. They have to get it from life. Don't waste your time. I told my sister, don't waste your time. Don't call me about no money. I don't bail out retarded people. Don't. I've never. Don't throw good money after crazy behavior. That they know better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't reward bad behavior, lesson. What you just talked about, I mean, there was so much in tonight's call to convict every person that's listening to play a bigger game and to really leave a mark. And you've been an inspiration to me and all of the platinums with what we're creating. And one of the things that I do is work with young people and the language. Les, what you said is so true. I have to stop them and correct them so many times about the words that they are giving life to as they come out of their mouth. And I'm proud to say that, sometimes even the most interesting characters will pause and say, oh, sorry, miss, because they know I don't tolerate it in my space. And if more of us would just stand up and be examples and use the kind of behavior and language that we want them to model, it would give them more opportunity to self-correct and really be on a better path. But as you said, if they're not willing, if they're not in a space where they feel affirmed, when they understand that they don't have to use profanity to express their thoughts and feelings, then we're laying down on our job of uplifting and changing the generation that's here with us now.
But you know something? This is a different generation. See, you're not in my age category, but when I was coming along, my mother taught us to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. And if the neighbors saw you doing something, boy, you better stop. I'm going to tell Mamie on you. I was respectful of our neighbors, and they can correct me. But let me share something with you. These young people today, it's a different kind of animal. A different kind of animal. I was talking to 3 young girls. I went to speak at this school, and they had a lunch break or something. And so I was crossing the street, and these 2 girls talking to another girl about how they're going to beat her behind, and they didn't say behind, and they're calling all kind of B's. And I said, you are little queens. Why don't you make a decision to clean up your conversation and be respectful of each other? You are our future. You are the future Michelle Obamas. And one of them said, why don't you kiss our boom?
What?
She said, why don't you kiss our, and you know what she said?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
My mouth dropped open. It took my breath. And I started laughing. And so one girl, a 4th girl, she just watched. She didn't say anything. She didn't observe. She said, why did you laugh? Weren't you insulted? I said, no. I said, I thought about something my mother had on her mirror when I was a kid. She said, oh, Lord, help me keep my nose out of other people's business. And these young girls, at some point in time, we don't know that I just dropped a seed. At some point in time, one of them might take root. And I'm just very glad that one didn't take a knife out or call their boyfriend up to jump on me. That's not uncommon. And I just said, God, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I spent 3 hours last night, 3.5 hours last night, thinking about what's next, the projects. Where should I go? Is anybody interested? I want to start a movement to save young men and young girls. I got a training for that. That 1, change their mindset. 2, teach them how to become effective communicators. 3, teach them how to dress like a prospect and not a suspect. 4, teach them how to develop a relationship that's an asset to them and not a liability. And 5, teach them how to earn income over the internet. Even if they have a felony in their record, they can earn money and never have to go out and be rejected in the job market. But guess what? The majority, 99% of my engagements, I'm leaving the country. You know, they ask me, given the state of the people in your country who look like you, how do you have time for us?
Wow.
I was born and raised in Liberty City. They don't call me in Liberty City or Overtown in Miami to come there and speak or train. That's where I started. I was a state legislator in Columbus, Ohio. I was a state legislator and for 3 terms and used to lead demonstrations of 10 to 15,000 people to demonstrate against things in the system that was maintaining our detriment. They don't invite me to come and speak or implement a training program that will have long-range impact to eliminate what I call HIV, hood-infected virus, or AIDS, addiction and incarceration and death syndrome. No. No. I went to church in Cleveland. I took my time, volunteered, went to a church in Cleveland, and when it was time for me to speak, they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, the Cavaliers might have come on." And the minister said, "Whoa, sorry, Mr. Brown." And they ran out of the church. Do you hear me? I never got to speak.
Wow.
I walked real slow, hoping that one will say, I said, "God, just give me one. Just give me one." And most of them were ex-offenders. Have one stop me. And I walked slow toward my car, saying, "Touch one of them, Lord. Touch one that I could talk to. That's my assignment. Like Mr. Washington touched me." And by the time I got to my car, I was crying like a baby because not one stopped. Not one. The parking lot emptied. 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 Following behind a minister who had a brand new car, collected from them. And there's an old saying, wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. And I believe that, and my advice to you and to the other platinum speakers from what I have learned, and there's a book called Change or Die, and its first scientific book and study done, if I had known what I know now, I would have used my time differently. And part of what they say is that 9 out of 10 people will rather die than change. Would rather die than change. Yes, and that's been proven. But here's what. Jesus said, "Whosoever will, let him come. Whosoever will, let him come." I walked slow. I didn't call anybody. I walked slow so that somebody who was willing to call me, to stop me and say, "Hey, mister, can I talk to you?" As I did with Mr. Washington. "Mr. Washington, I'm the one, sir. Look at me. My mother works in the cafeteria. They call me the dumb twin. You spoke to me that changed my life. Sir, thank you. I'm the one, sir. I'm the one." And I was hoping that one of those young men would say, "I'm the one." But it didn't happen then, but it happened later on someplace else. And so whosoever will, work with the willing. Work with the willing. Don't waste your time with people who are not ready yet. There's a book called The Kabbalion I read many years ago that says the lips of the wise are sealed to the ears of the ignorant. And so, and Scripture says, don't cast pearls before swines, lest they turn and rend you. Don't waste your time trying to talk to people of low consciousness, or they get angry at you because they can't hear you. They can't hear you. And so that's why whatever I can do to help you and Anita, because you're willing, and the other platinum speakers, you're willing to invest in yourself, to work in yourself, train yourself, you're willing to be coachable. Most people are not willing. They're not willing. We'll teach you how to become a member of the 2%ers. Only 2% of the world population ever earn over $1 million in their lifetime. I've done it 65 times. And now with what we have available and what I've been exposed today with Alicia and Lorette and a guy named Eben, you will do, it took me 3 years to do my first million. You'll be able to do it in a fraction of the time because of the tools that we have available. This is the greatest time in history. And for every African-American male that goes to college, 100 go to jail. Wow. And so last night, I couldn't sleep. I was just tossing back and forth. Can I go up in there? Can they hear me? Well, they say, go sit down, old man. Oh, 70-year-old man. Give him a cane. Give him a wheelchair. Go sit down. We don't want to hear that positive mess from you. That's why I was just tossing and turning, saying, God, do I still have it? Do I still have it? Can I create a listening? Do I still have it? And I heard a voice in myself that says, yes, you still have it. I even called my son, Calvin. Do you think I still have it? He said, of course you do, Dad. Yes, you do. I said, but you hear me because you're my son. He said, but I couldn't always. That's true. And so sometimes even in the work that we do, giving people a spirit of optimism, we have our moments in the Garden of Gethsemane where we ask ourselves, do I still have it? Can I do this? Because I believe that God has given me grace to be able to do more work because my work is not done. My best years are in front of me, not behind me. My best years, my greatest work is in front of me. And I'm looking for ways to get my mind around it. But ultimately, I believe that I have to start out in this new place where I started from. Edward Albee in a play called The Zoo Story, said sometimes you have to go a long distance out of the way to come back a short distance correctly. And I believe that I'm going to have to walk by faith and not by sight. And that if no one shows up, I'm going to get the space and I'm going to put the word out. If no one shows up, so be it. But at least I would have done my part.
Well,
Yeah.
before you say another word, of course you still got it. We're all still trying to catch up to you. Every time we think we got a little bit of a wing going on, you come and sweep it right to the next level. So everybody that's listening, you still have it. You've been so generous with what you have, and you inspire us. But you know what I love about you? You just don't talk about living a bigger life. You take the same action that you're encouraging everybody else to do. We can't sit back and not read and not grow and not think about projects and not do, because that's what you're modeling. That is your behavior. That is your legacy that you're leaving in us. And even though Calvin is your son and John Leslie and Ona, they too can see how they've transformed. They can see what it is that you have been able to do, but what they can do as a result of your example. So just like them, the platinum speakers, those who answer the call, those who say yes and appreciate what you have invested in us, will continue to be a part of this legacy of your movement of 1 million. I'll take it to 1 million now, Les. You say 100,000. I think we need to go to 1 million voices of hope for those that are willing. And Lord knows, Les, I learned my lesson. Work with the willing, because the rest will drag you down.
That's it now. Yep. If Jesus said, all power is in my hand, but oh, by the way, the poor will always be among you. Oh, Lord, listen, thank you so much for your words of encouragement. I needed that. So you say I still have it. I needed that. Thank you so much.
Well, you definitely do. Definitely,
okay.
Definitely. We love you. We got to rest your voice because we have another call in less than 10 minutes. But I will tell the audience how they can connect with you on Facebook and to share their words with what they received tonight, to put that on your Facebook page and to interact with you, because you have been posting messages of hope. You have the videos that they can download. They can just go straight to lesbrown.com, Les Brown Events. They can go to brown.les on Facebook. That's brown.les, so that they can really understand how serious you are about taking it to a whole new level with all you've done, Les. And you said that life begins at 70, so I'm not born yet.
I love it. Okay, well, listen, those of you that heard the message tonight, I would like to hear something from you. If you heard me tonight, yes, at lesbrown.com. Email me. I want your comments, and if you have a voice and have a urge and a hunger to make a difference in people's lives, let me know that too in the email. Yes, at lesbrown.com. Thank you. Thank you so much, Stacy. You have something special. You got greatness in you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thank you, Les. Love you to life. Thank you again. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, especially our first-time callers that found out about Les Brown's Motivational Monday Night Call. Mark it on your calendars. Put it in your book. This is your place to be. Every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell a friend. Bring someone back. Make sure you send your comments to Mr. Brown at yes@lesbrown.com. That's yes@lesbrown.com. Go onto the Facebook page. That's brown.les, brown.les. It's the one that will soon be at 1 million plus. So please make sure that you go and visit and join the movement of change and voices of hope. If you want to connect with the platinum speakers, Anita, myself, and those voices that you hear each and every week when Mr. Brown is traveling, you can go to Les Brown Platinum Speakers Network.com, and that's LBPSN, www.lbpsn, to meet some of those individuals. But more importantly, use what Mr. Brown gave you tonight to activate the greatness that's inside of you. We believe in you, we're counting on you, and we're going to do this thing called life together. My name, once again, is Dr. Stacey N.T. Grant. It's been a pleasure being your host tonight, and we look forward to hearing your voices again next week, Monday. Have an incredible week and a more awesome life. Bye-bye.
Good evening. Commitment shows up in your life through action. You can tell people who are committed and those people who don't feel worthy. The people that are committed are busy doing it. The people that don't feel worthy are like a guy I talked to last night who told me, hey, I sure like to do what you're doing. However, I just don't want the responsibility. The company I work for, they're taking good care of me. I say, let me tell you something. Once you increase your sense of worthiness, you won't even be able to open your mouth saying that somebody is taking care of you. You want to take care of yourself. But see, because he doesn't feel worthy, he's intelligent. 17 years from a major corporation. They've spent thousands of dollars training him. He knows he has the book knowledge. But his attitude is, his vision of himself, his sense of deservingness says, you can't have that. So he will fabricate all kinds of excuses on why he can't have it. Robert Anthony said something. Robert Anthony said that you can only have two things in life, reasons or results. Notice, reasons don't count. I like that. Folks will always point out reasons on why they're not living their dream, on why they're not manifesting their greatness. They will always be able to point those things out, but none of those things count. The only thing that counts are results, and results don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. They tell it all. Judge a tree by the fruit that it bears, not the ones that it might talk about, not the ones that it might wish for or think about or affirm about, but the fruit that it actually bears. So let us look. I think that all of us are committed. But I think that some of us are producing results in our lives that that level of commitment brings that we particularly don't like or find distasteful.
I don't think that as a participant in life, you cannot be committed. You're either committed to mediocrity or you're committed to greatness. You're either committed to being productive or you're committed to being non-productive. You're committed to being happy or you're committed to being unhappy. See, whatever you're doing, however you spend your time, that tells you who you are. So think about what it is you like to create in your life experience. Once I look at how you commit your time, once I do an evaluation on how you spend your time, I can tell you exactly what you're committed to. People that say they have dreams or want to open a business or want to do something differently than what they're now doing, they don't like their jobs, they're unhappy, they're unfulfilled. People who say they want to improve their income level, look at how they spend their time. How they spend their time, the commitment of their time, how they use that will really tell the truth. People who said, I'd like to do better, but you don't find them in vocational or technical schools upgrading their skills and their knowledge, how they spend their time, that will tell you what's going on. People who say they want to normalize their weight, they want to be healthy, but every time you see them, they're eating, that will tell you that they're committed to being obese for the rest of their lives. People tell you they want to stop smoking and they're lighting up at that time. Folk that say, I want to stop drinking, and every time you're in their face, they're reeking with alcohol, that will tell you what's going on. Don't have to listen to what they say, just watch what they do. Commitment shows up in your life in what you do. On the other hand, you can make the commitment to your life that you don't like the results that you have and that you're going to do something about it. See, that power is available to all of us. People who look at life and decide, I want something different for myself. Carol Hatfield. Carol, who lives in Detroit, single mother, decided that she wanted to go into her own business, did not have enough money to do it. She wanted to have a health food store. She sold her car and used the money to start in a little storefront, a little hole in the wall. She rode to work on a bicycle. And then when she got enough money, she bought a motor scooter and did that for a long time. She's now a very successful person. She now has 3 health food stores. She said it was hard. It's a struggle, Les. She said, but I did it. She said, I made the commitment to do it, and I did it. Why is it that people are frightened by commitment? Because when you say the word commitment, that intimidates a lot of people. Why? Because it means you have to deliver. See, most people, you ask them, hey, look here, I'd like for you to do this. And they'll say, I'll try. I'll try means that is my escape clause. When I don't come through, it's really a polite no. I don't have the courage to tell you no, so I'll tell you I'll try. Hey, look here, I need you to come to this meeting. I'll try. I say, what do you mean? You're going to lean toward the meeting? Try and sit down. You either do or you don't. Try and take this pencil out of my hand. You either do or you don't. There's no such thing as try. So most people like to use that language. They don't want to commit themselves because commitment means, among many things, no excuse is acceptable. That's what it means. No excuse. That if you decided that you're going to do this, if it becomes hard, then do it hard. If it's difficult, so what? If it's inconvenient, so what? See, a lot of people made a commitment to come here tonight, but they looked outside and said, it's raining. The temperature dropped. It's cold outside. And they decide to give up on their commitment. And that's how people do about their dreams. They don't honor their commitment to themselves. Let me tell you what happens when you don't keep your commitment. Number one, it begins to deplete your self-esteem and it erodes your self-image. It weakens your faith in yourself. You don't feel good when you don't keep your commitments. The other thing is that you begin to develop weak relationships with people. People begin to realize they can't depend upon you. They can't rely on you because you won't keep your word. You've established that kind of reputation. Just think, what would your life be like if you decided to keep your commitments? What will all of our lives be like if we decided to keep our commitments? That we decided to do the things that we said that we were going to do. That we wouldn't even speak it unless we were going to do it. If we decided just for a week, just see what your life can be like. Just let's do it for a commitment to make it a 7-day commitment that I won't say I will do anything unless I'm going to do it. and find out what your life will be like. Let me tell you what, if you follow it through, if you keep your commitment to the commitment, at the end of the 7 days, you'll feel strong and powerful. Because by honoring your commitment, each time that you do, that empowers you. Whatever discipline that is required, whatever it is that you must do. So I'm suggesting, number one, commit yourself to live in the present. I saw the movie, The Dead Poet Society, Robin Williams, and they had a line in there, seize the moment. Many of us are not able to move forward and develop and manifest our greatness because we spend so much time looking back or worrying about the future. Seize the moment. See, you cannot go into the future and manifest your greatness when you have various things in your life that's blocking you. Let's look at how we can begin to keep our commitments. Remembering what Dr. Robert Anthony said about results. When you keep your commitments, you're able to produce some different kinds of results in your life. So how can we keep our commitments? And do we keep all commitments? No, we don't. You will not be at 100%. However, you will have a greater percentage rate of maintaining your commitments to yourself, whatever those things might be. If it's going into business, if it's changing a habit that you know that works against you, if it's overcoming self-destructive behavior, if it's retraining your thinking, if it's reinventing yourself, if it's trying to begin to design your relationship differently, all of us have the possibility, by focusing and really harnessing our attention and concentrating on it, we really have available to us the power to honor our commitments in those particular areas. So number one, make it priority. See, no one would go get on an airplane if you thought your chances of getting there to your destination were as good as your luggage. Am I correct? See, and I say the reason that you will reach your destination more times than your luggage will is because the airline, and I'm glad that they do, has made it a priority to move the human beings from one point to the other safely. Not send you off to Boston or someplace with your luggage. So I'm not really upset when my luggage doesn't show up. I'm glad they delivered me because they've made me a priority. See, they have made delivering you to your destination important. So if you want to honor your commitment, whatever you decide that you're going to do, make sure you make it important. Make sure it is priority. Keep it before you. The other thing is, whatever that you want to do, whatever you want to begin to create and beginning to manifest your greatness and strengthening your level of commitment, and it's really exercising your will, find something that you want to do on your goal, one action step, but make sure it stretches you, that it challenges you, but it's doable, that you can do it. This year I decided that I was going to exercise. So I started out doing just 10 setups and 10 push-ups. I know I can do that and not get upset about it. I can do that without thinking. So I started out small. Now I'm up to 50, but if I try to do 50 starting out, I wouldn't still be doing it. So I started doing it in manageable segments. Do that, and that strengthens your will. So my commitment now is strengthened and fortified by the activity of actually doing it. So now I can expand and build from there. When I decided to begin to manage my money differently, and I started saving 5% of my money, then I increased it to 10%, then to 15%. So now I have disciplined myself to live off 75% of my income. I took discipline to do that, but I started watching how I was spending my money. I started keeping a log and following myself. So you want to begin to find something that is manageable, that you know that you can do. The next thing, in beginning to keep your commitments to yourself, have some friends that will hold you accountable, that won't let you off the hook, that won't tolerate anything less than the best from you. People that will support you in this new way of being, in this new state of consciousness. The other thing is that important is have a contingency plan. See, many times when you make a commitment to do something, there are some other variables that will happen that you can't control or you perhaps did not think about. So you want to have some other plans going on. You want to become creative. See, most people don't keep their commitments because when something goes wrong, they just stop. They don't have a contingency plan. So they don't know what to do next. Start being creative. If you challenge yourself, many times we say, I don't know what to do. And I always ask myself, but if you did know what to do, Les, what will it be? That activates another part of my mind. I start thinking about the possibilities and just experimenting. But many of us just stop dead in our tracks. I don't know what to do. You do know what to do. You've got genius in you. Challenge yourself. Push yourself. Make yourself come up with something. Use your imagination. And what you will find is that you know more than you realize that you know. That you're more creative and more resourceful than you realize that you are. And as you do that, the more you do it, the easier it will become. At first, it's going to be a struggle. And after you get into a certain level of consciousness, you will ask yourself, how is it that I didn't see this before? At the level that I'm managing my business now, they say consciousness is what we are. I literally look at myself and say, how is it that I didn't do this before? Why is it that I couldn't see this before? And the reason that I didn't see it before, because I didn't challenge myself. I didn't put myself out here. See, the reason that most of us go through life never discovering our true greatness, literally walking, breathing corpses, the uncommitted life isn't worth living. Why? Because it doesn't produce anything. See, you only make things happen. Your life only counts. You only make a difference when you are committed. When you make a commitment with your life. That's the people that make a commitment with their lives. The people that make a commitment to their customers. The people that make a commitment to their families, to their relationships, are the people that make the greatest impact in life. What is commitment? Commitment is the salesman who says, look here, I'm going to make $1,000 today and I'm not going home. You can turn the lights out. The janitors could be here running the vacuum cleaner. I'm not leaving here till I do it. I used to be a door-to-door salesman. I had X number of TVs. I had a minimum amount that I knew I had to sell every day in order to provide for my mother, who was ill at the time, who had lost her job at the M&M cafeteria because of arthritis. And I said, I'm going to go door to door, and sometimes I would not come home until 1 o'clock at night, knocking on people's door, people closing. What do you want? Would you like to buy a nice working month's television set, no money down? No. What about an Emerson TV? No. Thank you very much. Do you know anybody else that would be interested? No. Thank you very kindly. Knock on another. Hello. Would you like to buy a nice working television set, no money down? No, get away from our door. Thank you very kindly. Do you know anybody else would be? Yeah, my cousin, he lives 2 doors down. Thank you very kindly. I tell him you sent me. When I heard your cousin told me that you wanted to buy a television set, told me to come in and talk to you, we got a special discount for you. Yes, come in, I'm interested. I would just keep right on. I would not go home until I did it. It's an interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen, that when we put ourselves in a situation where we say we're going to do it, it puts you in another zone where the universe responds to you. When you have that kind of consciousness, see, the universe responds to the man or woman that refuses to be denied, because that is your commitment. That business that you want, that book you want to write, that dream that you have of controlling your destiny, that is yours. That power to create that and to manifest that, that is yours. That's available to you. But you've got to be willing to stand there and face disappointment, not have support, be lonely, doubt yourself sometimes, be rejected again and again and again, become bankrupt if necessary, again and again and again, and refuse to turn around until life gives it up. Nothing can resist a person that has that kind of commitment. The people that have made a difference on the planet. When John F. Kennedy said, we will go to the moon in the next decade, he spoke it. That was a commitment, and people shared that vision. People bought into that. We've had all kinds of examples in history where people have made declarations, who have committed their lives to bring about a difference. There are people who are taking a stand today against hunger. I guarantee you it will be a part of our past at some point in time. Someone took a stand against polio. It no longer plagues us as it once did, because someone said, it is my commitment to eradicate it from the face of the earth. The reason that we're here and enjoying the democracy that we have. Someone made a commitment that whatever is required, if it means that I die, I remember Paul Robeson, here I stand for I can do no other. And that's how you must be. Commitment means standing up for your life. It means honoring yourself. It means beginning to say and to see and recognize your alignment and oneness with the universe, and that you are a channel for life to express through. And we short-circuit it with anger. We short-circuit it with fear. We short-circuit it with envy. We short-circuit it by being lazy or apathetic or giving up easily. Why? We say, oh, it's too hard, it's too hard. We don't challenge our spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing as powerful as the human spirit. You can't destroy it. You can pervert it, but you can't destroy it. I was reading Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. What a powerful book. I'm reading it now for the 7th time. And he gives so many graphic examples of the power of the human spirit. And so what are some of the things that can fortify us and give us the kind of inner strength that will allow us to forward ourselves into the future by manifesting our commitments? Number one, commitment means in some cases going back to school, getting some training, sitting up in classes with people younger than you, putting yourself in a position where you don't know and that is awkward and uncomfortable, but because of your commitment to develop yourself or to go back to school to get a high school diploma or to get a college degree, that it doesn't matter, feeling dumb and saying, what am I doing here, setting up in some boring class? Commitment could mean a lot of things. It could mean that you begin to go back. You got to back up sometimes. It means to back up and not give up, to regroup, back up and regroup and come back again. Because life has waylaid you, because you got knocked down. I know when I was working on my dream, there were times I lost my house at one point. I lost my car. I was broke. My credit was bad. I was sleeping at different friends' houses on their couch or on the floor. There were times, months, that I slept on the floor of my office and got up early and dressed before my staff got there to give them the impression that I got there early before they did. And we all pretend not to know what we knew, that the boss was staying in the office. So we never talked about it. But I refused to give up on my dream. And what happens, they say, you know, in the prosperous years, you put it in your pocket. In the lean years, you put it in your heart. It makes me appreciate it even more. Even more. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. The disappointment, the pain that I've gone through by keeping the commitment. Keeping the commitments that you have might mean taking a stand that's unpopular. Something was said one time. When you take a position, it says, cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Politics asks the question, is it popular? But conscience or commitment asks the question, is it right? And see, most people rather operate from the first two. Is it safe for me to take this position? I remember when I was a state legislator, I saw guys and women who believed in legislation very strongly, but because the Speaker of the House said, we won't go with that, they backed down. And they felt bad about it. They wouldn't take the position because they didn't want the Speaker of the House to be angry at them. They wanted to be all right with all of the rest of our colleagues. See, it takes a great deal of strong courage and commitment on your part to step out a line. Henry David Thoreau says, if a man doesn't keep pace with his companions, perhaps he's listening to the beat of a different drummer. Let him dance to the music that he hears, however measured or far apart. When you are committed, you're dancing to the beat of a different drummer. Don't expect people to understand you. Don't expect it to make sense to anybody why you've got to do this. Why you have got to go. Why you leave. This is a good job. I'm going. They pay you well. I'm going. You just a few years from retirement. I'm going. Why? I don't understand. You don't have to. I'm going for me. Because I've made a different kind of commitment with my life. This is something I have got to do. Commitment. It means taking a stand. Taking a stand for you. It means delivering. It means coming through. What if you don't keep your commitment, Les? What if you give it everything you have and you come up short? Or if you don't give it everything you have, what if you get weak along the way and you throw in the towel on yourself? You surrender to your emotions. What then? A lot of people become discouraged. They become frustrated, and they say, oh, what the heck? And they go back to doing what they were doing before, saying it doesn't work. Here's what I suggest. Number one, that does happen. So take total responsibility for it. Just own it. Don't make any excuses on why you gave in or why you didn't come through. Just own it. And face to flack whatever it is. And stand up inside yourself. Next thing is, assess the situation. How did you get here? What happened that you broke down, that you had a breakdown and you surrendered? What happened? What was going on? See, when I used to go on a diet, and I no longer do that, I've made a commitment to a healthy lifestyle. I used to eat up until 12 midnight on Sunday. Anything that wasn't moving. And on Monday, I would get up and eat a fruit, light fruit breakfast, and for lunchtime, I would fix some broiled chicken and meticulously peel the skin off and eat the chicken, and then eat the skin. Do 5 setups, look in the mirror, and become discouraged because my stomach doesn't look like a washboard or one of the Avon Haley dances. And I say, what the use? And then I go to the refrigerator and eat food cold standing right there in the refrigerator. So when I evaluated where I broke down, I realized I can't have junk food in the house. So I had to remove that. And then I realized there are certain streets I couldn't drive down. So I changed my route. I stopped taking people to lunch or to dinner because I couldn't sit there and watch them eat. When I had to go someplace and speak and they were eating, I said, call me downstairs when it's time for me to speak, because if I sit at the table looking at them, the food's going to call my name. And I know this. So I had to begin to make sure that I wasn't putting myself in a position where I would give up on my commitment. Am I making sense to you? Yes. So I began to strategize around avoiding situations where I knew that I was going to become weak. Another thing I do when I don't keep my commitment, I either deny myself something or I do a trade-off. If a glazed donut takes advantage of me, then I require myself to do an extra 25 setups. Or I walk for an extra 15 or 20 minutes because I got a hammerlock on my head and say, come on over here. So you might have to deny yourself something or do a trade-off. Do something that will offset it. The other thing is, start again. So what? You fell flat on your face. So what? Start again. Learn from the experience and start again. Don't count yourself out. Don't sentence yourself to a lifetime of being miserable, a lifetime of being broke, a lifetime of being unhealthy, a lifetime of being in a relationship that is no longer fulfilling to you. A lifetime of working on a job that does not bring you satisfaction, that's not giving you the creative urge that you need and that got to have in your life that stimulates you. Don't sentence yourself like that. You are a human being. Don't volunteer your life that way. Your life has too much value to the universe. You've got something to contribute. You've got something to give. And so what if you make a commitment and you're not able to do it like a pro? That you're not good as everybody else. Live in the moment. I like what this says. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and verities of existence, the bliss of growth, the splendor of action, the glory of power. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. See, if we just start enjoying where we are, if we make that kind of commitment to enjoy where we are, to experience the experience of life where we are, to do all we can right now where we are. Forget about the mistakes yesterday. Forget about all your failures yesterday. Forget about what you don't have. That's not important. Only thing that we have is right now. Right now, right now. And I say that life is calling on you to call forth on that. The optimists, which I think one of the most positive groups in the world, they have something called the Optimist Creed, and I like, it says promise yourself. I changed it to commit yourself, because I think that commitment has more power than promise. It says commit yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile, to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. Commit yourself to these things. Isn't that powerful? What a commitment to make with your life. Commit yourself to stretch, to get outside of your comfort zone and not be concerned about what people think about you, because they're thinking it anyhow. Don't worry about what they will say. They're already saying it. So what do you care? Decide that your life has so much meaning to the planet. Decide that you have something to give. That's why you're here. See, you didn't just show up. You brought something here. You're on a journey. You have a destination, mission to achieve, to do, to implement, to perform, to experience. Decide to commit yourself to be an adventurer in life. Look out on life around you. Look within yourself and say, where is it in my life that I need to make a commitment right now? Where is it? That it might be for your health. It might be to be a happier person. It might be to make a difference in your community. It might be that. Where is it? I say that commitment shows up, and the man or woman who has some idea, some dream that they've been nurturing within themselves, and no one believed it, no one saw it for them, that they weren't masters at it, they weren't experts at it, no one would build a statue and ever call their name and recognize them, they never made it to the front page of the newspaper, but they had something that was theirs, something that was their baby, something that they loved and they believed in, and they just did what they could with what God gave them with their dream. Commitment shows up, and people that are willing to give themselves a chance, who look at their lives, look within themselves and say, I know that this just cannot be it for my life. I know that there's something I'm supposed to do. I don't know right now. Or maybe you do know. Maybe you do know, and you've talked yourself out of it. And I understand that. Because I'm late. No. Everything happens as it should. I got the courage to step out, to become committed. I was seriously not serious before. And I decided, it took me some time to build up the courage to become committed because it frightened me. So I understand wrestling with it. I wish I could tell you I've been doing this for 20 years. I haven't. I'm just glad that I decided to become committed before I left here. And wherever you are, decide that you're going to commit your life now and let it show up in your contribution. Let it show up in what you have to share. And whatever commitment that you make, honor your commitment as yourself. Honor your word as yourself. Whatever you put out there, do it with what you've got. I want to thank you very much for your consciousness. This is Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, Leslie Calvin Brown, saying it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. Thank you all. Yeah.